What's up, you fools? Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. This is the ESC United expert panel. And yes, the team has gathered once again to discuss the songs of the 2019 season, share our thoughts and insight, and then ultimately provide our score. And we'll get to that in just a second. It's the United Kingdom's turn. And I think we all know by now, Michael Rice won the national final with the song Bigger Than Us.
It's bigger than us. It's bigger than you and me. It's bigger than us.
The question is, did the UK make the right call? Well, we're here to discuss it, take the song apart, and why don't we get started? Not waste any more time. Calvin! Michael Rice, Bigger Than Us. Did he convince you or not?
So I will start with this. I think he has the potential to give the UK a really strong result. The song feels ready for Eurovision in a very serious way, and I think he could surprise a lot of people who are kind of writing him off, because the song does feel very current and very commercial. But that's kind of my problem with it, I have to say. I think it's just a little bit too soulless, a little bit too cynical, a little bit too vacuum-packed. I think the lyrics are a little cliche, and I don't think he's quite a compelling enough performer to find something special in that. And I end up having some really serious problems with the song as a result. It just doesn't fully work for me, and even though I do understand why this could do well for the UK and why it was chosen, it gets skipped whenever I'm listening to the Eurovision 2019 playlist or what have you. I just am not really a fan of this one.
All right. How about you, Melanie?
Yeah, I'm on the same page of it as Calvin, because, Michael Rice, he does his best. It's a great singer. He has a great voice, and his how he presents the song really uplift the song. The problem is, it's the feeling that someone said, Michael, you have to sing the song. Just do your best and just try your best and make something of it. So he just given a cliche song, a song that can be from any other singer, any other band. And Michael is doing his best. He's trying to sell it, and he really makes it work. But you just see that the song is not working for him, and it's not working in general, because it's a really cliche and predictable song. So I really think that Michael is doing his best, and he's doing the best he can, but the song is just not his song. And I'm still hoping for a great revamp, because, that Lucy Jones, it really made it a lot better then. So I have hopes that it can be better, but now I'm like, they had to choose a better song.
Yeah. How about you, Connor?
So I will come out yet again as a UK fan. I will say that the UK has not failed me yet since 2014, and I know that I am probably one of the only people to ever say that. But in my reviews, I always talk about the shaping of the song, okay? And when we look at Bigger Than Us, this is a perfect example of what I mean. I mean, it starts off really raw, really simple, a very, very soft, very faint track that moves us into the chorus, and as we move and we progress, it gets bigger, literally bigger and bigger, to the point where we literally get to the bridge, it gets a key change, and it just goes through the gate. I know that a lot of people were very on board with Carrie Ann. Not that I see any faults in their choices. I just think that for me, especially when the songs came out, I thought that Michael necessarily didn't have any competition, that this was the one that they needed to pick. I was really nervous when we got to the live show, especially since I was about to go on a flight, so I was worried if I was even going to get to catch the whole show or not. But he really sold me, both from the fact that he made it into its own, really brought it to life. The studio version, I will admit, is a little okay. It's not anything amazing, but when he delivers it live, it was a standout. My caution and my worry, especially for the UK, is that if they deliver another standstill, stagnant performance on the stage, it's going to significantly hurt them. I mean, we look at Surrey last year. predominantly just stood there and walked around the stage just slightly, but on the whole, she was stuck in this radius. Joe and Jake, same thing. When we're looking at Molly, same thing. They traditionally just stand on stage, so they need to do something a little bit different. This song calls for movement, very similar to what happened in the national final. He needs to be authentic and he needs to be organic. He doesn't need to be stagnant and stuck, because if he gets stuck, the song's going to get lost. So that's my only worry. I have no worries for the song. I think that this is a great entry, a great effort, and I think that this could be another great year for the UK, and I'm hoping that that's what happens.
All right, there you have it. I'm more in line basically with what Melanie and Calvin said. The only thing I would is not disagree, but I don't feel as this song feels current to me at all. It feels like something that the X Factor winner from 2005 could have performed. It's that kind of big, grand ballady that, you know, I've heard many, many times in the UK from the old days. I actually preferred the other version of Bigger Than Us, so it was not even my top between those two. But I will say that, yes, Michael Rice sang it well, as Melanie pointed out. He is a great singer, and I don't think that the song does him justice as vocals. I mean, the vocals, I mean, you can be able to sing, but I don't think it's the song. He deserves a stronger song, as far as I'm concerned. He also, I see, I'm jumping back to Calvin, where he is right. I'm not sure if it's his stage presence or his persona wasn't quite there. He didn't connect with the camera. He didn't have the energy that I needed. Even though he was moving around at the end, it just didn't feel right with me. I also didn't like the fact that the backup vocals were so recorded. Because, you know me, I love me some gospel, right? And the gospel seemed so tamed with that. And of course, the backup singers are not really singing that. And I don't know how they'll be able to bring that live on stage in Tel Aviv, that big sound that it has there. So I have so many concerns about that song. Ultimately, I didn't click with it either. And it is more on, just like Calvin said, on my skippable list when it comes on. But it's not like, oh my God, I got to skip it, right? It's just more like, I just don't have a connection with it. And as you can see, Connor connected with it. It just didn't do anything with me on that hand. But that being said, it's not that I have any issues with the song. It's just, I guess, not for me. I can see some value in it, again, vocally, and if they bring out somehow the gospel-y part a little more, maybe then they'll win me over. Right now, I'm just kind of, yeah, it's right there for me. It's indifferent. I guess that's the word I would use to describe this song. So there you have it, a bunch of opinions. But now let's take a look at our scores and see how that's going to pan out. I think, Melanie, you went first, so what's your score?
I have given it a 7. So, as I said, I think that Michael really did good with the song. But the problem is the song, and it's predictable. We have heard it before. It's cliche, but it's an okay song. And I'm still hoping for that great revamp. You know, UK did a great job last times on revamp. So I'm hoping that there will be a still great revamp that I'm like, okay, now it's going to do well in Tel Aviv. Now I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. It's cliche. We heard it before, but it's okay.
All right. Calvin.
I give it a 3, and the reason it's as high as it is, given what I said about it before, is that I do actually think the UK could snap a bit of a losing streak there, and I think there is value in telling Europe we are not here to make friends. We're here to win. But it just doesn't work for me. The quieter parts don't really strike me as particularly authentic, and once it gets louder, I'm kind of lost. I am, alas, not Team GB or Team UK this year.
All right. Connor.
So I will say the irony of what I'm about to say is the fact that I have, in my personal rankings, Sweden and UK like this, which is really ironic because the songwriter for the UK is the Swedish entrant for John. So I guess a part of it makes sense in that way, that if I align very closely with Sweden, I would align very closely with the UK. In my comment, in regards to, I guess, the chorus and the backing singers, I just feel like that was a choice of the BBC, of the broadcaster, to do when it came to live. Granted, I did not watch all of the show, so I don't know how all the other backing vocalists came off. But as a whole, I don't think that the track and the performance from the BBC was the best. So perhaps when we come into live, when we come into Tel Aviv, maybe that'll switch and that'll change, because this is the only song that they have to produce. It's not 6 songs that they're having to make work and choreograph and do backing vocals and dancers with. It's just one, and it's just one try, one shot. So my score for the UK, and I know that I'm going to be the sole defender, the only person who's going to say this, but I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, wow. All right. So it's very interesting that you also brought up John Lundvik, who represents Sweden this year and co-wrote that song. He also co-wrote, as you pointed out, Bigger Than Us. To me, it's the opposite. For you, it was like this. For me, it was like this. One song was like, I really enjoyed that one. The other one, I'm just not getting into it. I'm like, I really just think, because initially, for what I know, John Lundvik sent Bigger Than Us to Melody Festival, and they were like, no, we're good. Let's pick the other one. And it's true, I'm not making this up. So it's very interesting. I can see why. And I don't want to give it too low of a score, because if it would just purely just like, I don't click with it, I would give the same score as Calvin probably, but I do try to be reasonable. Not that I'm not saying you're not reasonable. I'm sorry, but I did rephrase that, Amanda. I did say it like that. But I'm just trying to take into consideration the song, and just because it doesn't click with me, it's not a horrible song. It just feels to me dated, predictable, and it just doesn't warm my heart. So, but overall, it's indifferent when it's on. It's on. I'll give it 5 points. So 5 right in the middle there for me. And there you have it. These are a pretty wide range here between the 4 of us. Let's take a look if the rest of the team is going to be on the same page as Connor, or maybe Calvin, or maybe in between. Time to find out. So we've added all the scores together, 20 plus scores, and this is the final score for the United Kingdom, 6.03. What do you think, Connor? Is that too low? Oh, that's what you thought it's going to...
I honestly, I thought that it was going to be a little lower, and I think that my 9 brought it up. No shame in saying that. No, it doesn't surprise me because of the fact that I know how some people feel about the UK entry, especially year to year. It's not necessarily people's favorites. But what I will say is we have had many songs that have sounded similar to songs of past years that have done exceedingly well. So whilst it is cliche, it is a little perhaps dated and a little typical. That does not mean that it might not do well. So just want to throw that out there.
Just holding on to hope there. We have to wait and see, as we always like to say. This is the score for the United Kingdom, 6.03. Do you agree or disagree? Number 1, leave your thoughts below in the comment section. Would love to hear from you. Number 2, there is a link in the description box. Takes you to the poll where you can vote as well. Give your own score, and then we'll add that up at the end as well. And yeah, do it now before you forget. Thank you so much. We got to move on. More videos, more reviews to do. So have a good day.